So welcome to this week's episode of Fantasy 5. I'm Brandon Rowe along with my partner Nick Bolliger. We're going to change it up this week. There is really no matchups that I would say like to sit someone. If I had to, I would say sit Julio Jones against Richard Sherman. There's been reports of him that he's going to be on Julio Jones like glue the entire game. He's going to follow him all over the field. So for my start, though, I would say start wide receiver Sammy Coates for the Pittsburgh Steelers playing the Dolphins. The Dolphins' defense isn't looking good as of late, so I'd start Sammy Coates. Who do you got?
One of my starters is Terrell Pryor. You know, they're playing the Titans, and you know he's just an all-purpose machine for them. He's catches the ball, throws. I mean, he can throw the ball for them as well.
He's played defense this year.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, he's even had some rushes out of the backfield.
Right.
So he does everything in
And
fantasy league. That's fantastic. Start Terrell Pryor.
My other start, I would say start Jeremy Curley, wide receiver for the 49ers. Colin Kaepernick starting this week, which I think is the best idea for the 49ers right now. You start Colin Kaepernick, who Jeremy Curley is his favorite target and who was already the number one guy in San Francisco. I would say start Jeremy Curley. I feel like he's going to have a 2-touchdown week.
Now, my second starter is Brandon Cooks. This is kind of a given. They're playing the Panthers, but this is huge. Like,
it is.
Julio destroyed the Panther secondary with, you know, Matt Ryan. And you're talking about Drew Brees at quarterback with Brandon Cooks. Very talented receiver with Drew Brees, you know, arguably one of the best quarterbacks of all time.
Right.
You know, so start Brandon Cooks. There's no question. Hi, I'm Nick Bolliger here with NandB Sports, and I have my partner right here, Brandon Rowe. We're going to be predicting Week 6 of the NFL, and the first game we've got is the Eagles and the Redskins.
This is an interesting matchup, divisional match, but I'm going to take Carson Wentz and the Eagles. Carson Wentz, I don't care. He's a rookie. He's going to do rookie things. He did throw a pick last week, and it's his first of the season. I don't know why Eagles fans are already doubting him. I mean, it's his first pick, and he's a rookie. He's playing the Redskins. I'm going to take the Eagles this week. I feel like we get the win in Washington.
Yeah, I'm going to think a little bit of the same. You know, the Eagles have a couple of good targets. They got, you know, good pass catchers out of the backfield, good run game. You know, so I'm also going to take the Eagles. You know, Carson Wentz is as composed as rookies get, so one pick isn't too much to hang your head on. All right, so the second game we got this week is the Jaguars and the Bears.
This is interesting. The Jags haven't lived up to what I thought they would do this year with that defense, but I'm going to take the Jags on this one. I know every time I take them, they lose, and every time I don't take them, they win, but I'm going to take the Jags because I feel like Blake Bortles needs to have a big week this week to win. So it's going to come down to quarterback play. I know Brian Hoyer is playing for the Bears, and that for the Bears to win, it's going to have to come down to the run game and their defense. If they can contain Allen Robinson, T.J. Yeldon, and Blake Bortles for Jacksonville.
You know, I'm also going to take the Jaguars, and, you know, I'm in the same boat. I've been on their wagon all year.
Right.
You know, they haven't really done too hot, but that's down to the youth, I think.
Right.
This week against the Bears is going to give them a good opportunity to get back into it, you know, start expanding what they've got. And really all they've got to watch is Jordan Howard from Chicago. They're backup running back. So that should be...
You contain him and Alshon Jeffrey, and you should be all set.
Yeah. So I'm going to take the Jags.
Yeah.
All right. So this, despite the Bengals' record, is probably the second best game of the week. We have the Bengals and the Patriots.
I'm going to take the Patriots in this one. It's not going to be a game like it was against Cleveland this past week. I think the Patriots are still going to score 30, and I feel like it's going to be kind of a field day for Tom Brady. It's going to be kind of a high-scoring game. I feel like it's going to be 35-40 range, but I feel like the Patriots get the win by 2 scores.
I think it's also going to be a 2-score game. I think it's going to be a little bit closer because the ability of the Bengals to rush and, you know, get pressure on the quarterback. But then again, Patriots have Tom Brady.
Quick throws.
Right. So, you know, Tom Brady's going to have to make those super quick decisions.
Correct.
I think it's going to be about a 28-point to 4. It's going to be about 28-14 like the Dallas score was.
Yeah.
2-score game. But I think the Patriots take it. So we have a very uninteresting game, the Ravens and the Giants.
I'd say so. Give me the Giants. I feel like I would love to take the Ravens, but I just feel like the triple threat in New York, they need to have a big week. Like, it's so irritating to see the talent that they have. Eli Manning, you got OBJ, Victor Cruz, Larry Donnell. Like, you have all this talent around you, and all you need to do is just put it together and win. And it's rough to see that they're not getting it done. So I feel like they need to get a win this week to put it together.
Right. I'm also going to take the Giants. You see OBJ. He's just trying to have fun now. He's trying to get his head back into it. His glove last week said just smile. That's interesting to see. But the Ravens, I don't think they really have anybody that can cover stud. Sterling Shepard,
no.
OBJ. It's just they've got too much. I think that they're going to overpower the Ravens with their pass game. Going into the year, I thought this game was going to be very interesting and, it'd be tight, maybe see some overtime or like a heavy shootout. But the Panthers and the Saints.
I feel like if Cam Newton plays, give me Carolina. If he doesn't, I feel like the Saints got him. Carolina's just falling apart. Teams that start 1-4 have a 6% chance of making it to the Super Bowl. So this is a must-win game for Carolina if they want to get back into contention for playoffs.
I think that's a little bit of an understatement of a must-win. Like, if they don't win this game, I don't even think they make the playoffs.
I really don't.
Yeah.
Starting 1-5 is rough to come.
The secondary is just getting hammered.
It is.
You saw Julio drop 300 on them, and now you got Brandon Cooks and you got Snead and
Kobe Fleener.
But then you've got Drew Brees throwing the ball.
Right.
I think really it's going to come down to Brandon Cooks having a field day and Snead having a field day.
Oh, yeah.
And the Panthers are going to try to hang, but if Cam Newton doesn't start, it's not even going to be a game.
It's not.
So next game up, we've got the Steelers and the Dolphins.
This one, give me the Steelers. I feel like the Steelers are one of the top 3 hottest teams in the NFL right now. They got Le'Veon Bell back. Antonio Brown's finally getting that swagger that he's been needing all year. And Big Ben's just throwing TDs. He's throwing yards and throwing TDs. He's not turning the ball over. And Sammy Coates, stepped up 2 TDs and almost 200 yards last week. So I feel like just how do you plan for that offense, especially with the Dolphins' personnel? There's no way you can. So I'm just going to say give me the Steelers by 21.
I see the Steelers. They have a surplus at every position, really, except for quarterback, obviously. But, they've got 3 or 4 wide receivers that all could be Pro Bowlers if they were on a different team.
2 Pro Bowl running backs.
Yeah, and, they have the best running back, and then a guy who played like he was the best running back. They're just going to overpower the Dolphins. I think a really thing to watch is the receiving yards of Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
Against the Jets, he had 88.
He had more receiving yards than he did rushing yards. So.
But something interesting I want to look at is I want to see how the players around Antonio Brown, as they start to get production higher, like Sammy Coates in this offense, as he starts to produce more and more, how is that going to affect Antonio Brown's numbers? I think that's the reason he hasn't started so hot is because other guys have stepped up.
Right.
And Big Ben just, he's got unlimited targets to throw.
He does. He could really throw the ball up to anyone, and he can be confident in them, bringing down the ball. And also, I see Le'Veon Bell lining up everywhere.
Yeah.
He's lining up fullback, he's lining up wingback, tailback, wide receiver, slot. He's doing everything in this offense that they need him to do, and I absolutely love it. I feel like Pittsburgh is the winner.
Oh, yeah. So, the Browns really, their record doesn't explain them as a whole, I think. I think they're probably, if they had a quarterback, would be a 2-win team.
They would.
To this point in the season.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to look at Cleveland. 4 quarterbacks injured on their depth chart. It sucks because in this league you need a quarterback to win. If you don't have a quarterback, you're not winning. Because you can just look at L.A. Like you look at the Rams, they have all the talent they need to win. They just don't have a quarterback, and it shows to Cleveland that they haven't got a win yet, and it just shows like the inexperience of that squad. So they're playing the Titans this week. I feel like Marcus Mariota is going to do some work this week, so give me the Titans.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Titans. I just think that 2-headed backfield, mainly led by DeMarco Murray, I just think that's too much for the Browns. They're just going to pound them all game long.
That's all you got to do. Just go up and down the field.
So, yeah, I've got the Titans. So this is another interesting game this week.
It is.
We've got a 49ers and the Bills.
The only reason I'm interested in this game is when Colin Kaepernick came into the league, I was high on him. I loved everything he did. I loved that he brought that swagger to the NFL that they were missing. And he, especially since he played in the Bay Area, it's just like it was his thing to be able to, if nothing's down the field, he's going to run around you and he's going to break tackles and he's going to run loose. The read option game was his thing. So I'm excited to finally see him get back out there. He's finally been knocked down a peg that, hey, this isn't your squad. It can be taken from you at any point. And I like to see that hopefully Colin Kaepernick can stay humble and bring a team back into a winning tradition, bring them back to that tradition that they need to have to really compete in that division. So I'm going to take the 49ers against the Bills. It's a risky pick, but I feel like Colin Kaepernick, if he has a good game, can get this done.
You know, when I saw Cam Newton play last year, I sat back and thought to myself, like, wow, that's what I thought Colin Kaepernick was going to be. Cam Newton did everything I thought Colin would do. Now, I think Buffalo has a very unique matchup in this game.
They do.
They've got a solid defense.
Yeah, watching kind of what Tyrod Taylor was last year is what I thought that Colin Kaepernick would be. I knew Cam was just going to do Cam Newton things because of his size, and he just overwhelmed any defense he played against, obviously except for in the Super Bowl. But you can see that I hope Colin Kaepernick can get it done this week. I'm excited to see him play. I feel like this is going to be a big game for both teams.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bills, though.
Yeah?
I'm going to take the Bills. So we have the uninteresting game again.
Yeah.
The Rams and the Lions.
This is interesting. I would like to take the Lions because I feel like Matt Stafford could have a big week on their defense, but I'm gonna take the Rams just because of their defense. That offense is still shaky. I don't know what Todd Gurley is. He has almost 200 carries and he's barely eclipsing 400 yards.
Yeah.
That's with
pitiful.
3 touchdowns. I expected him to come in here and make a run for MVP.
Yeah.
And the fact
after the season he had last season,
geez. I don't get what they're doing with him right now. I'm not sure if it's not working or if it's him, but he needs to find that. And if he doesn't find it this week, I feel like the Lions would get the win.
Yeah, I think the Lions are going to win regardless of how Todd Gurley plays. I'm just looking at Marvin Jones, and he's just, he's leading any receiver in the league with receiving yards.
Right.
And, fantasy-wise, he's the number 1 overall receiver. Right. So I'm going to take Marvin Jones and the Lions. I think they beat the Rams by 7. All right, so a little bit of a game that I'm interested in is the Chiefs and the Raiders. Both teams hyped up coming into the year.
Right. This is an interesting game because when you look at their games down the year, they're going to have to look at this game and say, hey, did we win this game in Oakland? Oakland leading that division right now. I'm excited to see. I really want this team to make the playoffs. They're strong. AC/DC's doing their thing, and that defense led by Khalil Mack is just getting it done. So I feel like the Raiders at Oakland will overwhelm the Chiefs, and I feel like they'll get the win this week.
I'd really love to see the Chiefs make the playoffs and get to see Jamal Charles when he's healthy, But I'm really just going to take the Raiders in this. They're playing exceptional football, getting it done where it needs to be. So Raiders by, I'm going to say 14.
14?
So we're going to go with 2 teams that I hope lose, the Cowboys and the Packers.
What? What? I'm going to say the Cowboys got this win.
Oh, yeah.
I love the Cowboys. I love Ezekiel Elliott. I love Dak Prescott. I love everything about that offense right now. And Jerry Jones is stupid to think that he should start Tony Romo.
Agreed.
I feel like that offense is cooking. I feel like they'll improve to 5-1. And I feel like it's Jerry Jones has to change his mind or he has to get off the drugs that he's on because Dak Prescott is cooking right now.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think the Cowboys are going to win. It's going to be tight because Aaron Rodgers is going to be Aaron Rodgers.
No, he's last in the league in 2 statistical categories. He's not a good second half quarterback. This year they're not blowing out teams like they should be, and it's all just close games. And I'm telling you, Zeke is going to run all over those Packers.
I agree. Aaron Rodgers hasn't played like Aaron Rodgers, but they're going to start clicking soon. I mean, if Matt Ryan can be the number 1 quarterback in the league, then Aaron Rodgers can start clicking midway through the year.
Do you see who Matt Ryan's throwing to?
Yeah, Julio Jones. But Julio Jones doesn't lead.
Mohamed Sanu.
Mohamed Sanu hasn't had a good season, though.
He's been consistent.
He's been all right. But you're talking about Aaron Rodgers here. Former MVP, Super Bowl champion, Aaron Rodgers. I'm not going to doubt him. I'm going to say this game is close.
Nope.
But not the Packers.
Two scores.
The Cowboys are going to take it late. But it's going to be a close game.
2 scores. Give me the boys.
So the next game we have the Falcons and the Seahawks.
All right. So this game is the game that I'm most looking forward to because you got the number 1 offense going against the defense. It's only allowed 1 passing touchdown all year long. So looking at this, it's going to be hard, but I'm going to take the Falcons in this one. They're going into Seattle, which is arguably the hardest place to play in the NFL. I love Matt Ryan. I love Julio Jones. I love the Julio Jones-Richard Sherman matchup. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Mohamed Sanu could have a big week. And both Atlanta running backs, receiving out of the backfield and rushing the ball, will have big weeks. So I'm going to take the Falcons in this one, not by a lot. I'd say the final score is going to be 21-17 Atlanta.
Me personally, I don't think anybody's going to have a big week. Seattle's got a very fast, physical, mobile defense. Sorry.
Right.
And Atlanta has a pretty good defense as well with Seattle's old defensive coordinator as their head coach. And they both have... the Falcons obviously have a high-powered offense, but the Seattle Seahawks don't have a bad offense themselves. Jimmy Graham's starting to get into the thick of things. And I don't really think the Falcons have a matchup for Jimmy Graham. I think
Jimmy Graham's going to have over 100 receiving yards this week. So I would start him on your fantasy squads if you got him. But I feel like I just got to take the Falcons. I know you're going to take the Hawks. But
I'm going to take the Seahawks 17-14. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game for these two teams.
Right.
Big defensive matchup this week.
Yeah, I'll take the Falcons.
Next game, we have the Colts and the Texans.
So Colts and the Texans, primetime game. I don't know why it's primetime, but I'm going to...
Nothing prime about this
one.
one.
I'm going to take the Colts in this one. I feel like Andrew Luck could have a big week this week playing against Houston. Besides Jonathan Joseph, there really is no pass defenders there. So I'm going to take the Colts in this one. T.Y. coming off a big week. I feel like Frank Gore could have a big week rushing too. So I'll take the Colts by 2 scores.
I'm going to take the Texans in kind of a tighter game. The Colts, they've underperformed, really. Their offense just hasn't been what I thought it would be. I thought it would be fast-paced, a lot of T.Y. Hilton,
right.
Andrew Luck doing some things, Frank Gore getting involved, but it's just been very stagnant.
It has, and that defense.
The Texans have a pretty decent defense, but I think Will Fuller, a guy you really like, and DeAndre Hopkins, a guy I'm pretty fond of myself, I think they're both going to have big weeks.
They could.
So, look out for that. The Colts have a banged-up secondary right now. It wasn't good to start with anyway. So, I'm going to take the Colts by 7 or 10. 7 or 10.
Yeah.
Monday night, really good matchup. Two teams that have, their record doesn't speak for how good they are.
It really doesn't.
We got the Jets and the Cardinals.
For the Jets and the Cardinals, I feel like I'm going to have to take Arizona in this one. Strictly off of the run game and David Johnson, I feel like they're going to be able to pound the ball through New York's defense, which hasn't happened at all because their front four is nasty. But I'm going to take Arizona in this one. I think they're going to win by 10. And I feel like David Johnson and Larry Fitzgerald are going to do what they did last week and basically have all of the offensive yards.
I'm also going to take Arizona. And the key to... I've watched the Jets' last 2 games. I believe they played the Steelers last week.
Yeah.
And they played Seattle the week before. Now, those 2 teams punished them with throwing the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Christian Michael did it very proficiently, and he's not as good as Le'Veon Bell. And Le'Veon Bell capitalized.
He did.
But a guy that really likes to catch out of the backfield, David Johnson, he's all about the all-purpose yards. He's very underrated. He's just getting better and better every game you see him. I think he is going to slaughter the Jets catching out of the backfield. Because that's how you get past the front four. You get your running back involved by tossing it to him out of the backfield and letting him get loose.
And let them spread their defense out.
He's going to have 100-plus yards receiving this week.
I think he's going to have 200-plus all-purpose yards.
All-purpose yards, definitely. I agree with that.
So give me the Cardinals in this one by 10.
I'm going to say by 10 or 14, they're going to win by 2 scores.
Yeah.
But, not 2 possessions, but they're going to score 2 more times than the Jets.
Right.
And so that's all for this week, and we'll catch you next week.